So another people don't know about music supervisor, I would say, is they just assume that the superhero is just the filmmaker alone. So this one, they don't bother checking, who was the music supervisor that made this possible? They don't understand the days that we have a sleepless night because somebody doesn't want to approve the music for use. And the filmmaker has warned you so much that this song is the perfect song. I don't want any other thing. So you are trying to come in as a mediator. You are trying to come in as a friend to the owner of the music.
Even knew that to make if it's possible.
Like there are things I've actually had to do in my head, and I'm like, there are days that I've sent some dangerous emails. I mean myself, I'm like, you're looking for trouble with these emails you're sending. But they won't see that. So they just say, wow, this song is in this movie. Oh my God, this movie is 100% good. Nobody's there to say, okay, we're going to give credit to the music supervisor. And they're like, no. In fact, that filmmaker is a premium filmmaker for having that kind of music, where they will know that some of us had to like do a lot of back end to making sure that that music works and is there for you.
This is Afro Shuffle with Mide Daniel on Africa Tech Radio. And today we're talking about music supervision. But if you look at my right hand, my guest is looking very dapper. And one will wonder how lucrative this business really is. But before that, I would like to know, and I think everybody else would like to know, in the most clear terms possible, what is music supervision?
Okay, yeah, like saying the most clear terms possible. So most times I always like to look at music supervision as what the project manager wants music supervision to be. So there are projects whereby our rules may just be, we're going to use XYZ music and we want you to make sure you obtain the right for us to be able to use the music. We do that and we disappear. While there's some instances whereby we are the head of the music department, so everything that involves music, we are reporting to either the executive producer or the producer. So ranging from one, identifying the score composer, that's the instrumentals you hear in the music and everything, to identifying the tracks to be used in the movie, to making sure that everything that involves administration, coordination, contracting is moving very, very smoothly. There are instances whereby if somebody's coming to perform, you are the person that have to pick up the phone. Hello, where are you? Your call time is XYZ. You are not here. What's happening? So you have to be involved down to the point of disturbing even finance. Alpha, we need to pay these people immediately because they won't reach out to the filmmaker and say, we've not been paid. It's you they'll reach out to. You're the person they know because you are the music head. So it's more of an admin project or admin activity to creative activity to actually legal activity. So it's just a fusion of many words depending on the exact project you're working on.
Interesting. Now we are going to go back to that question, but now you tell me like I'm 5.
Yeah, 5.
Let's go again.
So in clearer terms, the act of music supervision just involved the whole idea of selecting music and ensuring that music is being used in a film project.
Now, you see?
So it's shorter.
Exactly.
It's shorter.
But now that's very interesting. But how exactly, you said, okay, you already mentioned how it works, but going from legal to admin to interesting, very interesting stuff. But so now I'm very curious about how big it is generally. Like,
yeah, I would say worldwide is an industry on its own. In fact, when you look at United States, we have a guild of music supervisors and their membership is above 100. You go to the UK, we have guild of music supervisors in the UK and Europe too as well. So it's a big industry because as long as movies exist, music must exist, and both of them must come together, and they need skilled personnel to make sure that the music that is coming in is not a music that they will put in and someone is saying, take down that movie. You did not pay me for using my music. So in order to avoid that, we need to operate in that field. So I would say maybe it's big in other countries and we're just coming up in Nigeria. But at the same time, I believe with the increase of number of movies that will be going out, the increase in number of the need for more Afrobeat music in the film industry simply means that it's going to get bigger very soon.
I like what you said about like somebody saying that, take down my music because you didn't have the right.
Yeah.
As like let's say you're in charge of actually choosing music for movies. Has that thing ever happened to you before?
Maybe because I have a very good legal background, so it's easy for me to always navigate and know, okay, this person is not the owner. And sometimes there are times whereby the artist telling you, I own my music 100%, but it's very rare to see any music owned by an artist 100%. So we know we have the data, we have everything to like, oh, this artist does not own the song 100%. But I cannot come in to tell an artist that you don't own a song 100%. He's going to tell me that, who are you to tell me on my own song and everything? Yeah. So there are instances I just ask them that, oh, we have identified this song and we know XYZ exists as a co-contributor, either the producer or the songwriter. We are going to reach out to them and we're also going to reach out to you. This is the pie. This is how much is going to be paid. This is the split, because they already have a split agreement among themselves, which we are private to because we can see the back-end data. So when we communicate to them, they understand that, okay, so those people are sorted out. So any money I'm receiving is for me. So once they have that identity that, okay, this is my money and everything, they're giving their approval and we move into contract and everything. So it's just, I think most times, it has really happened to me. It has not really happened to me, because for every time we want to do that, when we check the due diligence, so we know who may come up tomorrow. So we are kind of prepared immediately. So once, I think the closest was a record label that existed then. We used the music, but the record label did not really have an office in Nigeria or anywhere, so we could not track the record label. So what we did was to reach out to the artist directly. We reached out to the artist directly, did everything. Everything was straightforward. We were good to go. The movie came out and the label reached out that, who gave you approval?
Wow.
So we obtained approval from the artist. Why? Because I already understand that for label deals, there are some deals you have with the labels that after 10 years, the song ownership returns to you. So based on that understanding, that was the only reason why I was able to still reach out to the artist and not insist I speak with the label, because of that understanding in quotes. So when they reached out, this, I said, no, everything's on an email trail. This is it. I'll just copy you to it, and it went on smoothly. So the artist was like, why did you tell the label that? I knew the label was going to call me because as a company, I know they exist, but there was not a contact person to reach out to. So what I did was to reach out to the artist directly. And when that matter came up, they saw it like, oh, yeah, cool. There's no problem at all. We'll just sort it out with the artist. So if I didn't have that knowledge, they would have just come in defensive, and me, I'll come in defensive. And when two people are defending,
noise all over social media and everything.
Everything,
like that.
Yeah.
So the gist is that there's actually a lot of money to be made from putting your songs on movies and all the type. So how is music money made, and how much exactly are we talking about?
So I'll say it depends on the project. Actually, there are some projects that have good funding.
Yeah,
the music fee would always go up. While there are some projects that will not say have bad funding, they have low funding. So maybe self-funded by the filmmaker herself or himself. So it simply means that the cost of music licensing would really go so down. So what we always try to do is to identify what is the filmmaker budget. So as a music supervisor, most times the creative selection comes in from either the director, editor, or even the producer, the creative selection. But when we come in, that we understand that, yes, your creative selection is awesome, fantastic, you are thinking well. But in line with the budget for this film or the budget for music, this music is not going to go. So instead of using this music, use this other music. So that's where we come in. So most times they see us as a bad person because we're like, you've not even tried. You've assumed it's not going to work. And I'm like, I would not license over, I would execute over, I would license a lot of songs for you to now tell me that this one, I should first go. It's just like you going to the market. They tell you pepper is 1,000 naira and you're telling the person, will you not collect 5 naira?
If you work, you work now.
It can never work. It can never work.
You have faith.
1,000 naira, 5 naira. Nah. They will check you whether you are normal. Maybe you missed road. I think that is just how it works for music too as well. So we try to educate the filmmaker and it's not that they don't want to sell the music. They don't want to give you the license to the music for 1,000 naira. It's because that 1,000 naira you're seeing there is not going to them directly. The label may want to take 50% off the 1,000 naira. There's what we call the publisher that represent the songwriter and the composer. They may want to take another 50%. When you divide it, what may get to the artist may just be 200 naira. Because the producer that produces on the song must get his own share. The songwriter must get his own share. So when they look at it and the final fee with 200 naira, it does not really want it. And looking at how Afrobeat is now global, most of the songwriters are not even domiciled in Nigeria. Some of the producers are no longer in Nigeria, or the companies representing them are no longer in Nigeria, or they were not in Nigeria, or it's a foreign company. It's difficult for you to be telling them that $1 million is a big money, yeah. Because what they're looking at is USD and they're like, this is money for lunch. This is money for lunch. How do you explain to them that this is what is a big money, yeah? But they're like, no, that's lunch money, yeah. So it makes
the whole thing very
not as lucrative as it should have been if it was just you're speaking to Nigerians and you're paying Nigerians, and also Nollywood is making more money, because I feel the more richer the industry is, the more richer the amount they pay for music licensing fee will be.
Okay, so let's talk about royalties. So when I put my song in a movie,
yeah,
do I get a one-off payment, or is it like, let's say if the movie goes to the cinema, so if the movie is grossing 500 billion, then I'm getting paid for that?
Okay, yeah, so most times everybody wants to collect money from the box office. Box office belongs to the production company and the distributor, in quotes. But one of the things that the law also recognizes is that when you have your music in a movie, you get paid one-off first. But residuals come to play in what we call performance royalties. So the fact you're watching a movie simply means that the music in the movie is being performed. But yeah, it's digital performance, because the idea of performance is that you are seated down and you can listen to something. So the fact that I log on Netflix and I'm seeing this movie and it's performance itself. So it means that if there's going to be a performance, royalties should be paid for each performance, despite the fact that you paid the one-off fee.
Interesting.
So what is provided for is the performance fee. And I think for projects that I've always had to work on, what I do is I submit, let me call it an invoice, saying that for everywhere this movie is going to be broadcasted, you have to pay XYZ through what we call the collecting society. So we call that document a Q sheet, but it's best described as an invoice because we know what an invoice does.
Yeah.
An invoice is saying pay XYZ. So what we do is we submit that document to the broadcaster. So the broadcaster identifies that, okay, there's money to be paid, and these are the people to be paid through their representative, which we call a collecting society. So once the collecting society receives the payment on their behalf, they remit to each of them. So that's how it works.
Is that like a particular percentage, or it's just by your discretion?
So I know the emphasis is still on the box office money. Technically, there is no really particular percentage. Most times it depends on the deal that the society, or let me call the organization, performing arts organization, have with Netflix, with Amazon, or anybody, or even with the cinema operators. They may come in and we know in a year you gross about the Nollywood industry as a whole gross maybe, let's say, 5 billion naira, for example. So it simply means that when you're using music, we want to make sure that you pay a minimum of 10% of that 5 billion. Then that becomes, I think, a minimum of 5 billion, 10% should be like 500 million. So that becomes a royalty pool. So they can say, based on the individual performance of these movies, we are going to pay out royalties. So meaning that if I did a movie, or maybe as an artist, my music is in a movie that is doing very well, doing box office and everything, it means that in that performance royalties, I should be paid more compared to someone that maybe the movie did not really do well at all. So that's the structure that exists. But we know that in terms of territory, it may not be strong in Nigeria, but the fact that the movie is going on streaming platform becomes global. The collection becomes global. So it's not a case of bet in Nigeria. That's old school conversation. We are now in the new school era because we're
global now.
Yeah, we're global now. It's technology and everything. So technology has made it so smooth. So it's just for the songwriter to say, am I doing the right thing? It's for the artist to ask himself, am I submitting the right document? Because if you don't submit the right document, the data will not match and you won't get the revenue or the royalties, in quotes.
Interesting. So let me just tell you this. I'm an up and coming artist. My song is coming soon. Let's wait. So how, as an up and coming artist, how do I get my song into a movie?
So maybe because I receive this DM almost every day, people always ask me that, tell me that you need to go and listen to my song. In my head, I'm like, do you know how many songs I have to listen to in a week if I'm going to listen to your song? So for an up-and-coming artist, I think the first thing is let your song matches what the movie is all about. Because in all honesty, almost every time I'm looking for a song, but it's difficult for an up-and-coming artist to know this is the song I'm looking for. So the question is, if you're trying to pitch, how are you pitching your song to look like? Oh, this song, this is a contest. Maybe I'm working on a movie about war, crime, and everything. There's a way you can tell me your song is about freedom fighting. Then I'm going to understand that, man, this is what I'm looking for. I can add it to a playlist immediately. Why? Because I'm working on a project about freedom, war, and everything. So it connects. But I will not be work on a project about love and everything, romantic, and you are coming to spring it. So it's going
I'm not a man of love. I'm a man
so
of
at that
war.
point, my head is not thinking that way. So I think up and coming artists should prioritize visibility, one, because I feel if your song is doing well in your own circle, there's a possibility that some of us may jump on it. Maybe on TikTok, I may just jump on it like, oh, who is this person? It may be on someone WhatsApp status, and I'm like, oh, this song is actually cool. Let me check the back end and see if it's something that we may need. But at the same time, it's always nice. Not everybody will be affiliated with a label, but there's what we call sync agents. So sync agents, they serve as the same way you have an agent helping you to look for house. It's the same way we have sync agents helping you to look for opportunities in the movie industry. So we have them, and what their work is to do is to just look out for opportunities for them. So if they are enrolled to maybe a sync agent or they are signed with a publisher too as well, not everybody may afford a label deal yet. So if they're signed with a publisher, it makes it easy for them to like, okay, Alpha, and you're not pitch my song to this person, pitch my song to that person. Then we never can tell it may convert, and at the same time it may not convert because the supply of music is very high than the number of movies we produce. So thousands of music for maybe how many movies do we produce in a year? So that's it.
So there's the advancement of technology. I mean, social media is like social media is the thing now. Do you think that social media has made your work as a music supervisor easier?
To be honest, very, 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 very easy because I can always know when the song is trending. For example, now there's this go, you go that's trending and everybody's dancing, and in my head, people are like, oh, Bridget should not do this way. And I'm like, see, people don't understand what has happened. That song has unlocked something. Immediately that song came out and people were talking about it, what me I went to do? When people are arguing here, I went to check who's on the back end. I saw the company on the back end. I'm like, oh, so it means if a filmmaker calls me that, Unique, I want this music in my movie, I'm happy I can sort it out in 24 hours. So social media helps music discovery. So it's easy for you to discover music released 50 years ago, 40 years ago. You just know that as long as you have an audience readily available to appreciate the music, man, you feel good, because that's what also is for us. When people watch a movie and they're like, this song, years back when I was still with my father, those kind of stories. Yeah. It looks so interesting because after the movie has gone and you've watched the movie, you want to listen to the music afterwards. And what it means is more money for those people that release the music. That money is not coming from us now. It's also coming from the audience. So imagine we've paid, the audience are kind of paying you again too as well. And also telling people about it. I think it's more visibility and it's promotion. So social media has helped the discovery of music kind of easier for us. So most times we're like, what are people saying? So people tell you, this song is trash, is this and that. I'm like, okay. I like this song. And in my head, if that's the audience we're trying to target, 1 + 1 = 2. We're not adding anything.
So, there are songs. I have this question and it's funny because I'm not even a movie watcher as such, but
really?
Yeah.
But when I watch,
never mind that. It's like a dream.
Wow.
I don't have the song yet. I'm not sure about the talent either, but
it's good. It's
my dream.
It's good to dream.
So there are movies like, let's say, Skyfall, that has like a soundtrack, Skyfall.
Yeah.
So that's just meaning that these songs were created for the movie
itself. Yeah.
Is it a last resort to create a song for a movie, or from the start you're like, oh, I think I want something, I don't want anything in the market? Or is it like, oh, I've set up and far and wide and I didn't see it, let's create a song?
Yeah. So sometimes I look at it as a business strategy. We talk about movie industry, we talk about Disney and the likes. One of the things Disney did back then was like, we want to make sure that when this movie has left the cinema, there must be something that these people can always remember, like when they talk about the movie. So when they're not doing maybe a sequel, or maybe they are doing a second season, for example, a sequel, any of them, and they play that music, it's easy for them to remember that, that music is from season 1. When is season 2 coming in? So you can use as a business strategy. Disney, for example, they also have a theme park as well. The children go to the theme park and what are they listening to? They are listening to that same music they've heard already. So that's generating revenue for Disney as a company. and helping them to continue with that experience of their audience. So it's not just going to end from you finish watching the film. Those children want to buy bags that have those pictures. They want to listen to the music and everything. So let's just make sure that we own the music so that we can be able to continue serving them and continue making revenue. So I see it more of a business strategy as opposed to the last resort. Because if you look at it as the last resort, sometimes it's very intentional. From pre-production, the producer is telling you that we are going to do originals. So what you have to do now is to check in what are the kind of artists that can come in and perform these originals, because most artists are signed to, or most big artists are signed to what we call an exclusive deal with a label or a publisher. So the implication is this: if we use them to do an original music and they have an exclusive deal, we've gone to touch that exclusive deal they already have with the label. So what we have to do is, we cannot just send anybody to just go into the studio and go and record and we just use it. We have to now reach out to the label to call what we call, to request for an approval, or no, request for a waiver.
Yeah.
Because it's an exclusive deal. So because there's an exclusive deal, we have to request for a waiver, from that exclusive deal, for them to record on our behalf for an original soundtrack. So sometimes that soundtrack can also be very complicated. So that's why people say it's the last resort. It's not the last resort, but in all honesty, it can be cheaper. It can be cheaper when you see,
removing everybody that
it can be cheaper. Just put everybody inside one place, record everything. I have what I want. What are we doing next? Let's go. So it can be cheaper as well. And original soundtrack also focuses more on the movie itself. So it's very, very, very intentional. So the audience are they are very connected to the storytelling. It's not really as wide as commercial music, because commercial music may be talking about drugs, for example, but when we put it in the movie, the context may not be drugs. It's really that know the song itself, I know that song is about drugs, but we tell you that it's not about drugs, it's about love too, because if they check it scientifically, it's scientifically proven that, okay, when you say lover girl and you say lover boy, they are so in love. The same way someone that takes drugs so high, the same way they're also very, very high. And they do some things that you may term as very, very foolish, and they tell you it's not because of love. Yeah. So it's easy for us to tweak the context. But when we do an original soundtrack, the focus is
basically on the
scene.
movie.
This is what we're looking at. Don't go and adjust or do anything. Just focus on it because it's for that movie.
Last but not the least, this one, if you think... You're going to tell me 5 things about music supervision that people don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Okay, sometimes they assume that we are not creative, that the filmmaker is the lead creative. And in my head, I'm like, some of us have to sit down and understand what music is all about from the early stage. For me, I played guitar for 5 years professionally, over 5 years professionally on stage and everything. So when they come in, they say, no, you are not the creative. We are the creative. So we understand it. So sometimes we allow, because when you have multiple cooks in a food, you know what the implication is going to be. So we allow the director to be the main person, and we just work based on the director creative vision. Secondly, there's the assumption that it is legal. In fact, some people just say, yeah, you are the lawyer in this place, come and do it. So they don't expect anybody to come in as music supervisor. So the implication that lawyers are experts in drafting contracts, but in understanding how this music are being cleared and everything, they don't really know. We may have over 5-7 database that we use to confirm who owns a song, but the typical lawyer don't have that database. What they have is who are we supposed to reach out? Reach out to Wizkid. Okay, send me his email. Hello, Wizkid, we'd like to use your music. This is, and they send you contract. They don't know the input and what really goes on. Thirdly, what's the question again? Since I just forgot the question now, because I know, so let's say something.
5 things that people don't know about music supervision.
Yeah, and that thing they don't understand. They don't believe that beyond clearing the music, that is a whole structure. They just believe that after we get to the point whereby we've done with the picture and everything, then we invite people just go and clear the music. So the fake assumption is they can select the music. Since the music supervisor is there, his own work, you just come, obtain the right, and we are good to go. Not knowing that we understand everything. We can come in as early as when you are just approving budget for the movie. So another people don't know about music supervisor, I would say, is they just assume that the superhero is just the filmmaker alone. So this one, they don't bother checking, who was the music supervisor that made this possible? They don't understand the days that we're having sleepless nights because somebody doesn't want to approve the music for use. And the filmmaker has warned you so much that this song is the perfect song. I don't want any other thing. So you are trying to come in as a mediator. You are trying to come in as a friend to the owner of the music.
Even knew that to beg if it's possible.
Like there are things I've actually had to do in my head, and I'm like, there are days I've sent some dangerous emails. I do myself. I'm like, you're looking for trouble with these emails you're sending, but they won't see that, so they just say, "Wow, this song is in this movie. Oh my God, this movie is 100% good." Nobody's there to say, "Okay, we're going to give credit to the music supervisor." And they're like, no. In fact, that filmmaker is a premium filmmaker for having that kind of music, where they will know that some of us had to like do a lot of back end to making sure that that music works and is there for you. So I think that's the fifth thing people don't know. Is there an extra one? Yes, there's an extra one. Huh?
Anyway, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now that you have mentioned it, I think I'm going to appreciate music supervisors better, because there's this particular movie, Dropline Part 2.
Yeah.
I've watched that movie close to, let me not say how many times I've watched it, because of the songs that were lined up, and it's just beautiful. And now that I know what you people do, the appreciation has risen. Yes, so thank you very much, Unique Oliver, for coming to have this conversation. I'm sure, been enlightening, because we didn't know. Now we know.
Now we know.
Now we know. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That was Afro Shuffle with Unique Oliver, a music supervisor.